It's a really good question and one that I'm being asked a lot at the moment. So empathy is one aspect of emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is about that ability to be able to understand what our emotions are telling us and being able to make decisions from that place. So in effect, we're intelligently using our emotions to build a relationship with ourselves and build relationship with others. Now, empathy, if you think about that in the context of leadership development, is a critical part of that. Being able to manage conflict, to resolve challenges within the workplace, to identify the needs of other people, to be able to listen, to be able to walk in their shoes is a really important part of emotional engagement. So if I want to engage the talent that I have, whether that's on an individual level or on an organisational level, it's absolutely critical that that they feel that they can trust the organisation, they can trust the individual leader, that they feel that they're listened to, that they're heard, that they're understood. So it might not mean that it changes any of the decisions that are made from a leadership perspective, but what it does is it takes into account the fact that actually as an individual, and an individual working for an organisation, I feel that at least my point of view has been listened to. I think that empathy is critical to being able to develop individuals and teams by being able to create the right vision and to build a collaborative working environment with an individual or a team builds trust as a leader. So what I often see in organisations and requests that I often get is about how do we develop empathy in somebody so that actually they're able to build the skill set and the competence of people that work for them in their team. I think what empathy allows managers or leaders to do is really engage with individuals on a completely different level. So it makes it less task focused and far more humanistic in terms of their approach to leadership. What people want now is they want to be able to trust the person that they work for. They want to feel that they're heard, that they're listened to. We work in a multicultural, multi-generational environment. And whereas before it was very much about command and control in terms of leadership, now it's very much about being able to work in a collaborative way. And people want to have that collaboration. So empathy as a competence allows leaders and managers to be able to develop that ability to build a relationship with somebody else. So where empathy plays a part in terms of coaching is about that ability for a manager or a leader to really understand what the drivers are and the motivations for that individual are. So an example of that would be, and particularly when you start to look at different personality preferences in the workplace, and if you look at it from a Myers-Briggs perspective, if you've got numerous different preferences, and I'm a manager and I'm leading somebody with a completely different preference, if I'm not clear about, or if I'm not interested in understanding what their perspective on things are, if I'm not prepared to walk in their shoes, then it's very unlikely that I'm able to be able to adapt and flex my style to the need of that individual. So if you bring that back to the ability to be able to coach, some of the core competencies around coaching are about being able to be curious, being able to understand and ask questions, but truly listen. So empathy is very much about that ability to be able to listen to the person that I would be coaching, to really hear them, but hear them on many different levels. So when we think about empathy, we might think about it just in terms of what we're listening to in the context of the words that they're giving, but we know that actually it's about that ability to really tune into the non-verbal communication. And actually, I think the stats say that 92 or 93% of communication is non-verbal. So my ability to truly listen from an intuitive place, to tune into the emotions that somebody else might be experiencing, is kind of the area that would link very much to empathy. the why it's absolutely critical to business results, that ability to be able to create a more collaborative and more inclusive, a more authentic leadership and emotionally fit leadership climate. Empathy is one aspect of that, and it's been, research has proven time and time again. And there was a recent paper that was written by Daniel Goldman for the Harvard Business Review on what is leadership. One of the pointers that he talked about was this ability to be able to empathise with the people that you have within the organisation and the impact that has on business results. So, there's more and more research that is coming to light to say that actually 90% of high performers have high EQ as opposed to IQ. So whilst IQ is critical, actually emotional intelligence is a more important factor that's linked to business results and performance. And empathy is one aspect of emotional intelligence. And 58% of job performance is linked to emotional intelligence. So if you think empathy is one aspect of emotional intelligence, so emotional intelligence, we look at it on 3 levels. It's the attitudes that I hold about myself and others. It's the emotions and my ability to tune into the feelings, the emotions, my own emotions and the emotions of others, which will drive behaviours and which will drive decisions that I make. So the more attuned I am as a leader or as an organisation, either to my internal customers, so either the people that work for me or the people within the organisation, the same is said for the more insights that I have around external customers, enables me to empathise, to walk in their shoes and then to make business decisions, either about our service or about a product or about individual in terms of how I support them on their career, which will really impact business results.